Welcome to BattleBlogs, a show where I take a look at the world of robotic combat, specifically the BattleBots brand. Folks, I kinda messed up. In my hiatus, in my little delay, I wound up losing track of what nights I actually covered and which ones I didn't, and so I think I'm just wound up being better off if I just forgot those particular episodes and moved right on to the tournament. It's a mess. It's not full coverage of the entire season, but I've got the tournament right here, so I'm gonna get started with the round of 32 instead, and we just we cut our losses and try better next year. Hopefully bad stuff won't happen that will put me on the shelf, like they did this time. We start off with Jackpot versus Witch Doctor. There were a few mighty blows, and Jackpot's weapon died. Jackpot was able to hold on for a little while, but it slowly became scrap before our eyes, and the Doctor was moving on. Lucky versus Hypershock. Hypershock stripped some weight to move faster, and it definitely showed. Lucky was bullied all match, and Shock peeled Lucky like an onion. It did an impressive riding maneuver that was just fun to watch, and the judges eventually ruled for Hypershock. Have to hand it to Lucky. It tends to last the full 3 minutes most of the matches that it's in. Next was Lockjaw versus Bloodsport. Donald Hudson's legendary driving skills were slightly countered as wheels were knocked off, but Lockjaw eventually set Bloodsport on fire and put it on its head. The veteran proved his worth and pulled off a KO victory. Shatter went up against Riptide. There was a little controversy, as it seemed like the Riptide crew made modifications after inspection, but after a look, nothing unusual was found. Politics aside, Riptide shattered Shatter, and after a combo with Riptide's weapon in the pulverizer, Shatter was KO'd. Claw Viper went up against Mad Catter. A rematch, but Claw Viper was much improved from last time. The BattleBots sign was cut in half, and the speedy grappler was dominant the first half, but eventually was put on its head. It was taken to the judges, who declared that Mad Catter was the winner even after an appeal was made. Scorpios went up against Huge. Scorpios was aggressive and looked dominant until it caught fire and eventually stopped moving. And it was a tire clipping KO on the part of Huge. Rotator went up against Copperhead. Shot for shot and shrapnel flying from both bots. Eventually, Rotator was peeled. This was a very tough call for the judges, who eventually ruled for Copperhead. The end of this bracket, the first round in this bracket, we had Endgame versus Tantrum. 2 champions in the very first round. Fun! A good wrestling match at first, and Tantrum looked like it was dominant until Tantrum eventually lost its leverage forks and then its weapon. Both bots went the distance and had to go to the judge's decision, and it was decided for Endgame to move on. As for the other half of the bracket, we had Black Dragon versus Ripperoni. Leroy Jenkins! That's a spicy meatball. Black Dragon lost its weapon and caught on fire and still knocked out Ripperoni after the pizza bot being dominant all match long. The dragon advances. Cobalt went up against Monsoon. Weapon-on-weapon clashes, but Monsoon eventually came out on top with every confrontation and sent Cobalt flying until Cobalt stopped moving and Monsoon moved on. Minotaur went up against Fusion. A couple good shots from Fusion, and then it caught on fire like usual, and then stopped. Both expected and unexpected, as Minotaur was in trouble for the first 10 seconds, but then it just won. Just that simple. KO victory for Minotaur. Hydra went up against Death Roll. Look, it's a flying croc! Death Roll finally got a shot in and got stuck. After a break, they were separated and the match continued. Hydra was hurt, but still flipping, and Death Roll lost its weapon. To Death Roll's credit, it lasted the entire 3 minutes, but the judges sent Hydra on to the next round. Quantum went up against Ribot. Quantum was hungry for frog legs, but Ribot took the crusher with almost one solid hit, and 1 pound frog is moving on. Switchback went up against Malice. Aggression and clever maneuvers to start, but Switchback lost its weapon. Switchback survived to the judge's call, but Malice goes to Wonderland. Beta went up against Whiplash. Decent shots from Beta, but after being put on the upper deck, it stopped moving and just couldn't leave. And Whiplash continued with a KO victory. To finish up the round of 32, Sawblaze went up against Blip. The two danced for a bit before Sawblaze delivered some nice hammer saw shots for noticeable damage. There was a slick move to avoid a flip from Blip, and it almost felt like bullying by Sawblaze. Expert driving brought Sawblaze to the next round, as the Tantrum brothers were both eliminated. And that's it. That is the first round of the tournament, and half the field's been eliminated, and we're gonna be moving on. Next episode, we finish out the season with the round of 16 and the finals. And when we do, my friends, it's robot fighting time.